lineups for Atlanta. Albert Hall leads it off in right field. Ken Oberkfell at third base bats second. Dale Murphy is the center fielder hitting third, and cleanup man Bob Horner plays first base. Ken Griffey in left field hitting fifth. Andres Thomas will hit sixth and play shortstop. Ozzie Virgil will catch and bat seventh. Glenn Hubbard at second base hits eighth, and Rick Mailer will do the pitching. For the Reds, their shortstop Kurt Stillwell leads it off. Max Venable in left field bats second. Dave Parker plays right, hits third. Third baseman Buddy Bell bats in the cleanup spot. Tony Perez saying goodbye with the 1986 season. He's retiring after the year. Will hit fifth and play first base. Eddie Milner in center field hits sixth. The catcher Sal Butera will bat seventh. Ron Oster will play second, hitting eighth, and Ted Power will do the pitching. Your umpires behind the plate: Frank Pulley, Joe West at first base, Dana DeMuth at second, and another fellow who's calling it quits after the 1986 season, Billy Williams, will umpire at third base. In the other baseball today, in the National League, the Cubs kept the Mets away from the 100-win mark, at least to this point in time. They beat them 8-2. Hall the winner, Aguilera the loser. Dunston is 17th homer. Gary Carter hit his 22nd. Montreal at Pittsburgh tonight. Philadelphia at St. Louis. San Francisco at Houston. And San Diego at Los Angeles. In the American League, Oakland beat Chicago 4-2. Ontiveros won it. Joe Cowley lost it. Connie Lansford hit number 18. Dave Kingman, number 34. Griffin, number 4. Tonight, New York at Baltimore. Toronto at Detroit. Boston, Milwaukee. Kansas City at Minnesota. Cleveland at California. And Texas at Seattle. Albert Hall about to lead it off. You see the numbers on Big Ted Power, a former relief pitcher who now has pitched well as a starter for the Reds. And as Hall strides toward the batter's box, striding in with the play-by-play, here's Pete Van Weer.
Thank you, Skip. Albert Hall batting .286 for Atlanta. No homers, 1 RBI after a .270 season at Richmond. He's played very well, getting a chance to show what he can do in these final few weeks. This will be his 10th game since coming up. And we are underway from Riverfront. High and outside, ball 1. Hall with 6 stolen bases in 7 tries. In just the 9 games he's played. There's a strike, 1-1. Ted Power had all kinds of problems in the bullpen for Cincinnati this year. Pete Rose decided at midseason to give him a chance as a starter and see what he could do, see if he could pitch his way out of his slump. And he has. He's going for his 4th straight win. Two and 1 the count now on Albert Hall. Here's the 2-1 delivery, missing high, and the count 3-1. Now the 3-1 delivery. Caught the corner. Full count, 3-2. Power lifetime is 2-4 against Atlanta. He is 0-1 against the Braves this year. Here's the payoff pitch to Hall. Hit foul. Back out of play. It stays full, 3-2. Back around the 1st of August, the Braves and the Cincinnati Reds were in a virtual tie for the bottom spot in the National League West. Since then, Cincinnati has gotten themselves right back into the race, and tonight they're trying to hang on. Here's the 3-2 again to Hall. Popped him up. Second baseman Ron Oster for the catch, 1 down. Now third baseman Ken Oberkfell batting .281 with 5 homers and 45 runs driven in. This is the 14th meeting between the Reds and the Braves. Cincinnati has won 8 out of 13 so far. They have 1 visit left to Atlanta. 1-0 the count on Oberkfell. The mound a little bit wet. We had a lot of rain in the Cincinnati area this morning. And even though the field was covered when the Braves got here, it's still a little moist out there. So Ted Power wants the scraping stick. Very warm and muggy night tonight. So time called while Power tends to his shoes. That evens the count at Oberkfell, 1-1. Power lives up to his name. That's the kind of pitcher he is. A power pitcher. Throws a lot of fastballs, hard sliders. Here's the 1-1 off the glove of the catcher, Sal Butera, 1-2. You cannot, of course, blame any one individual on a ball club for a team's not winning a division. But if Ted Power had a typical Ted Power year in the first half out of that bullpen, the Reds might be a little closer than they are now. 2-2 the count. They've had good years out of Ron Robinson, John Franco, and a newcomer named Rob Murphy. But early in the year, they lost a lot of ball games late when Ted Power was in there. Still 2-2 on Oberkfell. As the night begins, Cincinnati trails Houston by 10 full games. So do the San Francisco Giants. So the Astros' magic number down to 2. If the Astros win tonight and the Reds lose, it's all over for Cincinnati, although it might not be for San Francisco. San Francisco, well, if Houston wins tonight, San Francisco will indeed lose because they're playing each other at Houston. And the payoff pitch to Oberkfell, missing low and inside. So the first base runner of the game belongs to Atlanta. Oberkfell drawing a 1-out walk. And now center fielder Dale Murphy. Murphy at 271. He has 29 home runs, 83 runs driven in. Up high, ball 1.
Capacity crowd in that Atlanta dugout tonight. There are no bullpens here, so they've jammed in pretty good with the expanded roster.
And one more tonight, Darryl Motley in uniform for Atlanta. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Little check swing foul off to the right. 1 ball, 1 strike. Power continuing to have problems with the dirt on the mound caking up in his spikes. Here's the 1-1 to Murphy. That's a foul ball. 1 ball, 2 strikes now on Dale Murphy. Oberkfell, the runner at first with 1 down, just underway from Cincinnati. That just missed. 2-2. Bob Horner waiting on deck. Oberkfell chased back. Obi has 7 steals and 11 tries this year. Good play by Stillwell. The second one. Oster on to first for the double play. And that's it for Atlanta. Murphy hit it hard, but Kurt Stillwell, the rookie shortstop, got to it in good shape. And that's all for Atlanta in the first. Braves fail to score. Cincinnati coming up. A look at the Braves defensively as we go to the bottom half of the first inning. Griffey, Murphy, and Hall in the outfield tonight. The infield has Oberkfell, Thomas, Hubbard, and Horner. Ozzie Virgil catching. And on the mound, Rick Mailer, a lifetime, has an 8-1 record against Cincinnati. His only loss to the Reds came earlier this year. He's beaten them twice this year. Overall for the season, Mailer 13-16 with an earned run average of 4.83. And leading it off for the Reds, shortstop Kurt Stillwell, who's batting .220 with no homers, 21 RBIs. He was being projected as the shortstop of the future here in Cincinnati. But another rookie, Barry Larkin, came along at about midseason and played well enough to put Stillwell on the bench. They have used Stillwell a little bit at second base. They count 1-1. No score, bottom half of the first, the 1-1 on the way. Got the corner, 1-2. Here's the 1-2 offering. That misses low and inside. 2-2. And the 2-2 from Mailer is that slow curve, Stillwell way out in front. And there's the first strikeout of the game for Mailer. Got him with that big slow curve. Now the left fielder Max Venable, who was a last-minute insert into the Reds lineup. Originally Eric Davis was scheduled to play and bat fourth with Buddy Bell hitting second, but Davis with a bad ankle scratched at the last moment. Venable in there, hitting only .205, no homers, and 10 runs driven in. Taking a strike in the outside corner, 0-1. Right to the second baseman, Glenn Hubbard. And quickly 2 down here in the bottom of the first. Now Dave Parker, hitting .274 with 29 home runs and 110 RBIs. His RBI total second in the National League, and he's in a three-way tie with Dale Murphy and Glenn Davis for second place in home runs behind Mike Schmidt. Mailer's first pitch to him is down and in, ball 1. 2 men out, bases empty. We're scoreless in the bottom half of the first. That evens the count. 1 ball, 1 strike. About a month ago, you were hearing a lot of support around the league for Dave Parker as an MVP candidate. But then Mike Schmidt took off with all those homers and RBIs. You don't hear quite so much of that anymore about Parker. It's 1-2 now on the Cincinnati right fielder. Here's Mailer's 1-2 offering. Right to the third baseman, Oberkfell. They had him played perfectly, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Rick Mailer. Cincinnati down in order at the end of 1 from Riverfront. No score. Braves nothing, Reds nothing.
This broadcast authorized under rights granted by the Braves, intended solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any publication, rebroadcast, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Braves and Turner Broadcasting is prohibited.
Bob Horner leads off the second inning. The count 0-1. Horner at 266, 24 homers, 79 RBIs. Powers 0-1 pitch. That evens at 1-1. Tomorrow a 12:35 game here at Cincinnati's Riverfront Stadium. Charlie Palaio against Bill Gullickson. And then the Braves will be back home. Houston in over the weekend. And by then they may be the Western Division champions. A ball, 2 strikes, the count. Ken Griffey will follow, then Andres Thomas. No score, top half of inning 2. Here's the 1-2 from Ted Power, and he struck him out. Looked like the slider. First strikeout for Power, 1 away in the second inning. Whatever it was up in the strike zone. That's a pitch that Horner normally handles. Here's Ken Griffey batting an even 300, 11 homers, 28 RBIs. He gets a warm welcome from his former fans here in Cincinnati. And he takes a strike in the outside corner. Griffey, of course, a part of that Big Red Machine back in the 70s. Could not stop his swing there. The count 0-2. And now the 0-2 pitch misses way outside. 1-2. Power almost fell over on that follow through. Right to the second baseman, Ron Oster. And there are 2 down in the second. Now the shortstop, Andres Thomas, batting .254. He has 6 homers, 28 RBIs. Braves will have to make a decision over the winter on which way they want to go at shortstop, Andres Thomas or Rafael Ramirez next year. There are teams looking for shortstops that would be interested in talking to the Braves about either one of them. The count even, a ball and a strike. Neither team has a run or a hit. We're in the top half of inning 2. Two and 1. That misses, ball 3. That should drop out of play in the seats behind home plate. It will. So the count full, 3-2. And of the 6 hitters Power has faced, he's gone to a full count now on 3 of them. He has issued only 1 walk, and he has recorded 1 strikeout to this point. Second walk of the night issued by Power. Ozzie Virgil will be the batter. The Braves coming into tonight's game still holding on to 4th place, but by the slimmest of margins, only a half game over both the Dodgers and San Diego. And those 2 teams play each other tonight in Los Angeles. So the Braves need to win here to stay in fourth. The runner going, the pitch to Virgil, low and outside. The throw, it got him. Kind of a sidearm throw by Sal Butera. Ron Oster took the throw, and Thomas gunned down for out number 3. So the Braves have had 2 base runners. One of them was erased on a double play, and Andres Thomas caught trying to steal to end the inning. We go to the bottom half of the second. Still no score in our game. Bottom half of the second inning, Buddy Bell, Tony Perez, and Eddie Milner do up against Rick Mailer. Buddy Bell will lead it off. He's having a good year. 276, 18 homers, 67 RBIs. He is having a particularly good second half of the season. Buddy Bell having a good second half. Eric Davis blossoming as a star in the second half of the season. And some pretty good starting pitching and bullpen work. Got the Reds right back in the race. Here's the 1-0. That should be handled by the shortstop, Andres Thomas. And Mailer has retired 4 in a row. Now, first baseman Tony Perez, who a few days ago announced his retirement effective at the end of this season. They had a day for him here at Riverfront Stadium. Many of his former teammates, along with his present teammates, came out to honor him. It would not surprise me if Tony stays in baseball in some capacity, perhaps as a coach. He wouldn't make a bad manager either. This year he's hitting .244, 1 homer, 21 RBIs. The count 2-0. Glenn Hubbard should handle this pop-up. 2 down quickly in the second. 5 in a row set down now by Mailer. And the batter will be Eddie Milner. Milner batting .248. He has 13 homers, 37 runs driven in. He has 17 stolen bases. Cincinnati a bit overstocked in the outfield department. And you hear this guy's name rumored in a lot of potential deals in the offseason. Nothing and 1 to count. One ball, 1 strike. Nothing game. Bottom half of inning 2. Bases empty and 2 men out. Did not have a good swing there. 1-2 the count on Milner. Two and 2. Mailer working quickly. That slow curve, he got him, I think. He did. Billy Williams will call him out. He could not stop the swing. Another 1-2-3 inning for Rick Mailer. He records his second strikeout, and both of his strikeouts have come on the slow curveball. At the end of 2 innings, still scoreless from Cincinnati. He takes a strike, 0-1. Power with good fastball. Velocity, anyway. There are some hitters who tell you that his velocity has always been good, but many nights the fastball doesn't move. But he's kept the Braves off the bases thus far, except for a couple of walks. 1-2 the count. If Ozzie Virgil had repeated those first half figures in the second half, he'd be doing exactly what the Braves had hoped for. But he has not. And that's the second strikeout of the game for Ted Power. Looked like the slider. One away in the third. Glenn Hubbard will step in. Hubbard at .236 with 4 homers, 36 runs driven in. Oh, and 1. That evens the count 1-1. A ball and 2 strikes on Hubbard. Can't understand why Ted Power is having so much difficulty with the dirt on that mound sticking in his shoes. Rick Miller hasn't had a bit of trouble out there. Second baseman Ron Oster will throw on to Perez, and Hubbard retired for round number 2. Well, so far neither team's been able to get anything going against either Ted Power or Rick Mailer. And Mailer will step in now, batting .169, no homers, 7 RBIs. And there's the first base hit of the ball game. Rick Mailer delivering a 2-out single here in the top half of the third. He jumped on that first pitch, a knee-high fastball. So Mailer aboard with 2 down. We go back to the top of the order now. Albert Hall, who popped to second his first time up. One ball, no strikes. This is the first time the Braves have seen Ted Power as a starting pitcher since way back in June of 1982. And at that time, he was with the Dodgers. Off his fists toward short, Stillwell will take it himself, and the inning's over. So nothing doing for Atlanta in the third. They pick up the first hit of the game, but leave the runner. And at the end of 2.5, it's the Braves nothing and the Reds nothing. It off for the Reds. To tell you about it, here's Skip Carey.
Okay, Pete, thank you. Butera hitting .228, 2 homers, 15 runs driven in. Right through there, 0-1. Braves have the only hit of the game. It belongs to Rick Mailer. Up and in, a ball on the strike. Hung the curveball up and in, 2-1. That's out of play to the right. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Butera out of Richmond Hill, New York. He has modeled a lot of uniforms. In the big leagues, he's been with the Twins, the Tigers, the Expos, and now the Reds. Been in pro ball since '72, and he guides that one into left field. First hit of the night for Cincinnati. Ron Oster has suffered through a little bit of a tough year. You see his numbers. Oster, a native of Cincinnati, hit .295 a year ago. Butera has very little running speed. 1-0. We're scoreless, and we're in the third. Pitcher Ted Power waits on deck. He's behind the hitter. 2 balls, no strikes. Braves home against Houston on Friday night. They're in Atlanta Friday night, Saturday afternoon, Sunday afternoon. Monday is off. Then the Reds are in for 3. He's in trouble. 3-0 to Oster. Then the Braves head for Houston in the final 3 games of the year. And then we'll sit back and wait and see what happens with this club. He walked him on 4 straight. 3rd inning trouble for Mailer. There will apparently be no changes on the Atlanta coaching staff. Chuck Tanner said after the game last night he was retaining all his 1986 coaches. So the changes, if they come, will be, it would appear, on the field itself. Thomas is trying to cover 3rd. The pitch a little low. Mailer thought he had a strike. 1 ball, no strikes. That time, Oberkfell charged hard, and Thomas raced to cover 3rd. Let's see how they play it this time. Power, a 111 hitter with 2 RBI. Butera, remember, does not run well. Again, they have the same play on. 2-0. He's missed with 6 in a row. And he's missing now to the pitcher. Braves fans from Enon, Ohio are here tonight. Phil and Marge Travis rooting for the Atlanta team. Reds have won 8 of the 13 games between the teams to this point. This time Thomas isn't going to cover. Power took a strike. 2 balls, 1 strike. That time Oberkfell stayed back at 3rd base. It was Mailer's job to get over to the 3rd base line for a bunt in that direction and make the play back to Obi. Let's see if they've changed it again on the 2-1. The key is Andres Thomas. He's headed for 3rd. There's a strike, and it's 2-2. So now let's see how the Reds play. Billy DeMars runs through the signs down at 3rd base. Butera leads from 2nd, Oster from 1st. He gets the bunt down. Virgil's got a cinch play at 3rd out there. Back to 1st. Just safe there. Power didn't bunt it hard enough. Virgil took a little extra time unloading to make sure if he gets rid of that ball right away, why, he's got the pretty good chance at the double play. See him hesitate there? Then he made a perfect throw, but it was too late to get 2. So they're at 1st and 2nd with 1 out. Kurt Stillwell is the batter. He was a strikeout victim his first time. He's hitting .219. He missed that by a foot. 0-1. Power runs at 1st. Oster at 2nd. Just missed inside. It's 1-1. Crowd is not too bad at all, considering the weather and the time of the year and the fact the Reds are 10 out. Popped him up. That'll be easy. Infield fly rule is in effect. And Andres Thomas makes the play. 2 down. It's up to Max Venable. The Venable, a late addition in the lineup. Eric Davis, the youngster who's arriving as a superstar, was scratched from the game at the last moment due to a tender ankle. So Venable has been inserted in his place. Davis at 286, 26 homers, 69 RBIs. 74 stolen bases. Two on, but now 2 out. The left-hand hitter waits. Fastball high and away, 1-0. Cincinnati, I bet you, will be a contending team in the National League West next year. Two balls, no strikes. Dave Parker is next. Braves a half game out of the basement, but in 4th place. Play Venable a little bit shaded toward left field. It's 3-0. Well, let's see if Pete Rose is of a mind to gamble here. He's got Parker next. And the 3-0 pitch. Here it is. Taking all the way. Fastball right through there. 3-1. 12:35. Or is it 12:30 tomorrow? 12:30 Eastern time. For the final game of the brief series. Fly ball, deep right field. To the wall goes Albert Hall. He waves goodbye. Max Venable just hit his first home run of the year. It's 3-0 Reds. It's a tough game anyway. When you're pitching from behind in the count, it's just that much tougher. Here's Parker. '24th home run ball for Mayo. Looked like a fastball just right down the middle, belled high. So it's 3-0. Breaking ball goes all the way to the screen. 1-0. Way out in front. He hit that a ton. Foul. That one nailed an Anheuser-Busch sign and then sailed down into the lower deck. Low and away, 2 balls and a strike. Parker's still involved in that messy lawsuit with the Pirates. Again, he's behind in the count, 3-1. Pirates, I'm no lawyer, but they're trying to sue him because they say his drug problems influenced his pay and he shouldn't get some deferred money that's owed him. And the courts will decide that as Parker takes a walk. Here's Buddy Bell. Mailer looked terrific for 2 innings, but his control has deserted him a bit here in the third. Not just the 2 walks, but the location on his pitches, and he's behind. Been behind just about every hitter. And he's behind this one. The breaking ball is outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Drilled, but right at Oberkfell. That ball was hit like a rocket. The inning is over, but the Reds scored 3 times on just 2 hits. Venables homer the big blow. There were no errors. 1 runner was left. We've played 3, and Cincinnati enjoys a 3-0 advantage. He has extended his hitting streak to 23 games tonight for the Yankees. Fastball high. How about this one? San Diego at Los Angeles rained out. They'll play a doubleheader tomorrow. I guess it's getting to be that time of the year, though, isn't it? I remember one September week.
It was September, yeah.
For a week trying to play a couple of games.
Back in about 1976 or 77. That may have been the last rain out at Dodger Stadium.
Remember, we played a doubleheader the first day of school starting at noon, and there were about 8 people there. Yankees 2-0 over Baltimore after an inning and a half. Toronto got 6 in the first at Detroit. Fernandez and Fielder had homers. They lead the Tigers 6-0 after 1. 3-1, the count to Obi. All the other action in both leagues later on except the afternoon games. National Chicago 8, the Mets 2. Foul tipped, full count. And Oakland 4, White Sox 2 in the American League. Threw the fastball by him. Powers, third, strikeout. Just a good live moving fastball. He swung under it. Dale Murphy hit into a double play his first time. 3-2-0 for the Reds. 0-1-0 for the Braves. A strike to the Murphy. Braves trying to avoid their 81st loss of the year. Look out. Fastball up and in. That, by the way, was Max Venable's 10th major league home run in about 900 at-bats.
And his first one since August of 1984.
Sharply hit. Good play. Ron Oster couldn't get it. From his knees, his throw was a bad one. Let's see how they score it. It'll be a hit.
A good throw would have gotten him, but the official score will rule that this was not just a routine try. It was a great stop by Oster. Throwing from his knees, he pulled Perez off the bag.
He flipped that ball sidearm a little bit instead of coming over the top, probably because of his position on the field, but that caused the ball to sail, it appeared. Well, here's Bob Horner, a strikeout victim his first time. Breaking ball, fouled back, 0-1. Runner at first, 1 away. Oh, 0-2 to Horner. Charlie Pulejo against Bill Gullickson tomorrow at 12:30 Eastern. Murphy, a short lead. 1-2 the count to the Atlanta third baseman. First baseman. Used to be a third baseman. Now he plays first. Pop foul back into the upper deck. Still 1-2. A lot of personal difficulties have a great bearing on that second half production drop-off for Horner. Two balls, two strikes. That is why statistics sometimes mean absolutely nothing. Started to go, did he? Yes, Joe West pumps him out of there.
You won't get any argument from Bob Horner on this one. He was fooled by a curveball, just unable to stop that swing.
That's 4 strikeouts. Here's Ken Griffey, who bounced out his first time. The left-hand hitter waits. Oh, he chased it. High outside fastball that time, 0-1. This has got to be a kick for him, playing in front of the home folks after a few years in exile in the American League. And that'll make the seats. The 0-2 pitch to Griffey. Murphy at first, 2 out. Curve ripped hard but fouled on the first baseline. Stays 0-2. Murphy started to break towards second. Power, I think, heard Tony Perez because he wasn't looking that way, just stepped off the mound. Never did look toward first until Dale had scampered back. Lined into left field. Venable plays it on 1 hop, and the Braves have the tying run at the plate with 2 out in the person of Andres Thomas. So again, the Braves lead in hits, but trail on the scoreboard. Griffey engaged in some barbering down there with Tony Perez. They went through the wars together with the big red machine. Andres Thomas drew a walk his first time. Didn't get the high fastball. 0-1. Three 0 Reds. Braves have 2 on, 2 out, 4th inning. It's even now, 1-1. Well, that young Jim DeShays must have had some fastball working last night for the Astros. 8 straight strikeouts to start the game. Thomas falls into the hole. 1-2. Just missed inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. A little tap. That might be a tough play. Bell cuts in front, throws him out. Good play, and the inning is over. If it gets to Stillwell, I don't think he can make the play, but Bell ranged to his left, and the threat comes to nothing. Tony Perez leads off the bottom of the 4th. One ball, no strikes. Perez has been at this since 1960. He's been in the big leagues since 1964. He's played in 7 All-Star games, 5 World Series, 6 League Championship Series. Two balls and a strike. He's been around so long, I think he's the only guy I can think of right offhand who played for San Diego when it was still in the Pacific Coast League.
Yeah. He's a native of Cuba. I think he's the last Cuban native to make it to the major leagues.
Doesn't Detroit have a kid? What's his?
Barbero Garbe, but he's been sent back to the minor leagues.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And he came over under different circumstances, too. Tony was signed when you could still sign Cuban players to American contracts.
Hit .328 for the Reds a year ago. Another full count, 3-2. Ripped down the right field line. Trouble if it's fair. It is foul. Oddly enough, in his career, Perez has hit the most home runs against the Braves, which is understandable with the launching pad, but also against the Houston Astros. He has 40 each against those two teams. Another 3-2 pitch will head in his direction. He stayed alive. Again, the 3-2. Popped him foul back, out of play. Got him with an off-speed curveball. Perez had a big cut, but he goes down swinging. Strikeout number 3 for Mailer.
All 3 of Rick Mailer's strikeouts have come on the off-speed breaking ball.
Hard to see how he missed that one. He really had a good cut at it. Here's Eddie Milner. Good breaking ball there for a strike. Sharply hit up the middle, base hit. This guy can run. Milner 17 out of 27 in the stolen base department. Catcher Sal Butera is the batter. He singled to left his first time. Look out. Boy, that just barely missed getting him right in the chin.
It was a fastball that broke straight in on Butera, and he just did get out of the way.
The Angels have been rained out tonight, too, at home against Cleveland. That's not too surprising since they're only about 35 miles from Dodger Stadium. Good thing Joe Niekro's not with Houston anymore.
That's right.
Joe and Phil would be together somewhere out there. Runner going, sharply hit. They go to second anyway and get the double play. Good job by Thomas. Good job by Hubbard. That ball was sharply hit. Butera just guessed wrong as to which man was to cover second, and the inning is over. On the 6-4-3 DP, 1 hit, no runs, no errors, and nobody left. At the end of Virgil, Hubbard and Mailer will be the first 3. Max Venable's homer has given the Reds a 3-0 lead. He hit a 3-1 fastball right out of here. Slider high to Virgil. 1 ball, no strikes. Who wants it? It's Oster. And 1 out. Virgil's 0 for 2. Here's Glenn Hubbard. He bounced to second his first time. Ernie Johnson, John Sterling will join you after this half inning. And we'll make our way to Braves Radio. Up and in. 1 ball, no strikes. A little high. It's 2-0. At the knees, 2 balls, 1 strike. This has been Glenn's best month with the bat. On the corner, as you can see, Hubbard didn't think so. It's 2-2. He tried to hit that one to Dayton, but fouled it back. The 2-2 pitch. And he's run it full. Max Venable calls for it. You know, a stat I don't think anybody keeps, but I'd really like to know how many fly balls Glenn hits. Seems like he hits an inordinate amount.
I would think the Braves would be able to get that because Jimmy Guadagno keeps everything on computer sheets. Whitey Herzog, I know, keeps track of that with his hitters.
I have to ask Chuck about that. That ball's well hit, but Venable is there and makes the catch. Mailer's hit it hard twice, but a very quick inning for Ted Power. The end of 4 1/2. The Reds lead the Braves 3-0.
As Ted Simmons goes over and shares a laugh with Chuck Tanner. That's a 3-run home run by Venable. What happened in that inning? Mailer walked Ron Oster on 4 straight pitches. Oster's going to lead off here. And then with 2 outs in first and second, he fell behind Venable 3-0. And if he walked him, he would have faced Parker with the bases loaded. So he made the 3-1 pitch, got the automatic over, then made the 3-1 pitch too good, and Venable hit it out. That's where we are. 3-0 Reds, bottom of the 5th, and the curveball is outside, ball 1. Ernie Johnson, John Sterling with you now on the Superstation. It'll be Ron Oster, then pitcher Ted Power in the top of the order. For whatever reason, Mailer, who sometimes tries to be too fine, has not thrown a strike to Oster yet. There is one on the outside corner, 2-1. Now the 2-1. There's a strike as again he hit the outside corner. And the count goes to 2-2. Another fastball to left line down the line. It's an extra base hit. Mailer went to the same spot once too often. It'll be a stand-up double for Oster. Well, Mailer, who fell behind 2-0 and had thrown 6 straight bad pitches to Oster, threw 2 straight strikes on the outside and tried again.
That's a good job of hitting. You see how he just went out and slapped it over third. He's at second base now. And the batter will be Power. We'll see whether he bunts or not.
Well, you know Power wants to get the bunt over because the Reds could score a run on an out then, and Power would have a 4-0 lead. Power failed to bunt his first time. And Mailer brushes him away. Now Power has a talk with his third base coach, Billy DeMaris. I love those conversations. Probably Ernie went something like this, trying to get the bunt down in fair territory, and Power said, okay.
You get the directions right verbally sometimes down there, and even then they could go back and give some more signs and take it off. This is a difficult play, really, because the ball rolls so well on artificial turf. You don't see many guys that can bunt as well on artificial turf as on the regular.
In fact, last time up, the Braves were running that play where the shortstop covered third, and really no way to get the bunt over. So Power swings away. I guess that's what Billy DeMaris told him, to fake it, just try to make contact. You know, that's really a good play. If Thomas, we're going to see it again here.
He gets hit right in the face, or on the shoulder, I should say, with that foul tip.
If you have the first and third baseman charging, and you have the second baseman racing to cover first and the shortstop racing to cover third, that's the play the Braves have put on tonight. The entire middle of the infield, in fact, the entire infield is open. If you just get a ground ball down, it's a base hit.
But if you bunt with nobody at first base, a runner at second, they've got to have a tag at third base. Sometimes that's more difficult.
There's the bunt. Virgil has one play, first base. And what Power did, he bunted the ball straight down, and that high hop on the turf is the reason that bunt was successful. So Ted Power gets the job done. And Oster's at third base now with 1 out.
Perfect bunt. It hit in the dirt first. That kind of deadened it.
The sacrifice goes 2-4. Kurt Stillwell, rookie shortstop, has had his problems with Mailer. There's the curve, and that pop foul out of play. He struck out on a slow curve, and then he popped to short last time. He's 0 for 2.
They have to be careful, the Braves. They might pull a San Francisco here. That's the old squeeze.
Boy, he has. Roger Craig used that this year. He must have used that 5 times on the Braves.
I think he won something like 17 successful squeeze plays out of 28.
Boy, that's terrific.
Yeah.
That is really terrific. That's inside 1-1. Stillwell, the heir apparent to Davey Concepcion's job is short. Actually, he's been beaten out by another rookie named Barry Larkin. Larkin is injured, not playing tonight. Right-hand hitting shortstop, still a switch hitter. And Barry Larkin's done a great job for the Reds in the last month. There's the curveball. It's low, 2-1. 3-0 Reds. We're in the bottom of the 5th. Mailer misses inside with the fastball. Mailer is never really wild. What Mailer is too fine at times, and that's why he got in that pickle in the 3rd inning and had to come in to Venable with a fastball, and Venable hit it out. Braves have the infield up with Oster at 3rd and 1 out, and a 3-1 count on Stillwell. This is the guy you want to get because the next hitters are all lefty hitters with a lot of experience. Max Venable and, of course, Dave Parker. I don't think Oster can score. Murph in center field, he can't score on that. He fakes and goes back. And if you didn't see the craziest game you'll ever see, the Braves win the other night against San Diego. It was a fly that short to right field, and that's how the Braves won the game. Marino wasn't coming in. Tony Gwynn threw the ball in on one bounce and hit it off the catcher, Santiago, and rolled away, and the Braves won.
Could write a book on that game. Is this baseball?
That was something. Then again, that was every nutty play that ever occurred in baseball happened in that game. Well, 2 outs. Here's the hero, Max Venable. I'm sure when Venable got back to the Cincinnati dugout, the players were all faking being unconscious because Venable hit a 3-run home run. His first homer as a Red, his first homer in 2 years. He's got speed, a good line drive type hitter. And Mailer falls behind 2-0. You don't want to fall behind Venable, who's not a bad line drive hitter, but the guy on deck is Dave Parker, and you're just going to prolong the inning if you walk him. Now Mailer behind 2-0 has to make a couple of good pitches. There's one of them, a fastball right down the pipe.
He was behind last time when he homered 3-1.
Line to deep center. Murphy is there. Turned the wrong way, but found the ball and makes the catch, and Mailer pitches out of trouble. No runs on the leadoff hit by Ron Osterad. The Reds leave 1. We played 5 at Riverfront. Some of the people in the front row. Albert Hall leads off for the Braves here in the 6th. The Braves have done nada with Ted Power. There's a slider that hits the dirt. Ball 1. Ted Power had 2 excellent years out of the Reds bullpen. Last year, 27 saves. He was the right-hand stopper. The year before, he had a very fine season. And this year, he just couldn't get anyone out. He was being racked up game after game. Well, Pete Rose, in desperation, took him out, put him in the rotation, and he's been splendid. The bunt went down the first baseline, booted by Perez, but Hall has to go by Tony, 1 away. Albert Hall has beaten that out. That's the lefty drag bunt, but you have to get it between the first baseline and the mound, and he didn't. He pulled it right up the line.
Yes, and Tony Perez just waited for it, bobbled it for a moment, then gave him a smile after he picked it up. Got to pick it up. Even though it's foul, he hit it in fair territory. A smile, you are out.
That's a great shot, fellas. 1 away. Here's Ken Oberkfell. This is Power's 8th start after being in the bullpen his whole career. Fastball is high. Now Power 3-1 with an ERA of 2.70, so he has turned everything around. And Ernie, that only can be attributed to a fresh outlook. I mean, there isn't any other reason why he would turn it around now as a starter instead of a relief pitcher.
And it's so different, too. When you start, you have to pace yourself. When you're a relief pitcher, you can come in and let it all hang out for an inning or two, and He probably couldn't have done it if they didn't have Robinson and Franco down in that bullpen. So it's turned out to be a blessing for Power, and he'll probably like to stay on as a starter because it's a lot easier life. You know what? You've got 3 or 4 days off in between starts.
I bet he will. 3-1 on Ken Oberkfell with Dale Murphy on deck. And Power has pitched a shutout and a 3-hitter to this point. He doesn't want to walk anyone, so down 3-0, he pumped 2 fastballs across. Power comes at you with just that power. He throws his breaking ball every now and then, but mostly it's heat. As a fastball fouled away, and the count 3-2. And Dale Murphy on deck, 3-0 Reds, top of the 6th.
He did start a few games for the Los Angeles Dodgers, but then he just went to the bullpen. Been there ever since until this year.
Opie pops that fastball up to short right. Dave Parker. 2-away. Well, Power had really nothing more than a cup of coffee with Los Angeles. They dealt him over here, and then he became a bullpen star. The odd thing about it is, last year when the Reds finished second, their bullpen stoppers were the lefty John Franco and Ted Power, and they both came from the Dodgers. Power digging some mud out. The Reds have another bullpenner who has been sensational since coming up, a left-hander we haven't seen, named Rob Murphy. Rob Murphy is 3-0, and his ERA is .84. In 43 innings, he's given up 24 hits. That's pretty good. Those are pretty good numbers on Rob Murphy. This Murphy, Dale, takes it up high, ball 1. Dale has grounded hard into a double play. Then he had an infield single. He's 1 for 2. One and one. Bob Horner on deck. Should Murph reach? 2 outs here in the Braves 6. No one on base, and 3-0 Reds. There's the curveball. Power got it up a bit too, but Murph swung and missed. And the count 1-2. Another curve misses inside. 2-2. Looked then like Power kind of tipped that pitch. Good fastball. Stillwell throws on over, and again the Braves put down 1-2-3. Oh, nothing across for Atlanta. 3-0 2. You saw Dave Parker take the first pitch of the bottom of the 6th inside. Parker's had another terrific year with the Reds. Oberkfell wide at third will make the play. 1 away. Now here's Buddy Bell. I'm sure that Pete and Skip talked about Buddy Bell. Ernie, we had heard when he came over what a great defensive third baseman he is, and he certainly has proven that this year, but it took him a while to get used to the National League pitching, and in the last half season, boy, he's been great.
He has. He's not only hit well, but committed only 9 errors all year, 1 in his last 61 games. 2 great third basemen in the National League. Golden Glover Schmidt of Philadelphia and Bell here of Cincinnati.
See, one of them will win the Gold Glove at third, and the other will deserve it just as much, and it doesn't matter which one you pick. 1-1. I know our old friend Jimmy Stewart, the Reds advance scout, has said he's never seen anyone play like Buddy Bell, maybe a Brooks Robinson or so. He's that good at third base. Ken Oberkfell, not too shabby himself, throws out Buddy Bell. I think Schmidt, Bell, and Oberkfell all have less than 10 errors. That's pretty good. Mailer made 1 bad pitch. He had 2 on and 2 out. He fell behind Max Venable 3-0. He threw the automatic. Then on 3-1, he threw a routine fastball down the pipe, and Venable hit it out, and that's the difference in the game. 3-0 Reds. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th. Here's Tony Perez. But sometimes that's all it takes is one bad pitch. It gives you an idea of the pressure that the Braves pitchers are under because Atlanta just doesn't score any runs. Oh, and 2 on Tony.
Orlando Cepeda has a major league record for Latin American players home run, 378. Perez one behind. There it is.
Well, that's something for him to shoot at. He was honored one day here. It wasn't recently, but he was honored, and he hit a home run that day. It's the only home run of the year he's hit.
He's played very well since they honored him this past Sunday.
Yes.
Got a lot of hits.
There's the curveball dribbled to Mailer. Now Mailer, a 1-2-3 inning. We've played 6 innings here in Cincinnati. 3-0 Reds. Well, there are the totals. There's also the Cincinnati manager, Peter Edward Rose. The Reds scored all their runs and had 2 of their hits. Back in the third, a 3-run home run with 2 outs by Max Venable. The Braves have done nothing with Ted Power, who goes to the 7th. Power, an ex-relief pitcher, has really breezed right along here tonight. He has not gone 9 innings yet this year. Bob Horner leads off the 7th. 3-0 Cincinnati, and to tell you about it, here's Ernie.
Okay, John, thank you. Horner's had no luck with Power. He struck out both times. Pitch is high, 1-0. Griffey on deck. Signed by Butera in the pitch. 2-0. The outfield straightaway and bunched a bit. That's driven toward left center. Should be caught by Milner. And it is. 1 down here in the 7th. Now the batter, Ken Griffey, who's grounded out and single. He'll be followed by Andres Thomas. The Braves with 3 hits and the Reds with 4. Lansford, Kingman, and Griffin all hit home runs today for Oakland as they beat Joe Cowley and the White Sox. High into the air and short right. Parker, Oster, Parker. 2 down.
Ernie, you were talking over on radio about the great batting title races going down. Mattingly and Boggs in the American League, and Raines and Sachs and Tony Gwynn in the National League. In that home run derby in the American League, Kingman now ties Jesse Barfield at 34. Jose Canseco, Rob Deere, and Gary Gaetti all have 33.
Some great battles going on, and still anybody's guess who's going to win a National League batting title. Raines, Gwynn, or even Sachs. Means a lot to those guys to win one of those prestige awards. Really, by the way, batting title of a National League or American League is really a big honor. You do it just one time. 1 ball, 1 strike. Thomas is walked, caught stealing, and grounded out. The hits by the Braves picked up by Mailer, a single, Murphy a single, and Griffey a single. The big hit, of course, Max Venable's 3-run homer. There's a little pop foul out of play. One and 2. High into the air and short center. Milner with another chance. Came a long way, didn't he? He was almost to that white line. 3 pops. They have to know who's left on that bench. Here's Milner leading it off. He's 0, make it 1 for 2 at a base hit last time up. 0-1. He'll be followed by Butera. Outside, Gary Carter, who many people feel will be the most valuable player in the National League, although he's going to get some competition. But he's on a winner. He has hit 22 homers this year, got one today. John Dunston hit number 17 for the Cubs. Well, he's a good-looking young player with power. You don't see that in the shortstop very often. Dunston with power, can steal a base. Should be their shortstop for a long time. Milner's hit safely in 11 straight. Pitches inside. 2-1. 404 to center field. 375 in the alleys and to the poles. It's 330 at Riverfront. And the 2-1 pitch won't be made. Now it will be made. Swung on and missed. It shows the field, and the guy coaching first base, Tommy Helms, of all people. Tommy, not a home run hitter, hit the first home run ever hit here. It came against the Braves, and he hit it right into that foul screen and left. And that's it right up the middle, but it's going to be picked off by Thomas and thrown, and not in time at the little low. That'll probably be a base hit. Milner with his speed will be given a base hit. Nice play by Thomas. I didn't think he's going to make it to the ball.
Milner tries to wait on the slow curve. The ball hit the mound. That's the only reason that Thomas got to it. Andres flips off balance, but Milner would have beaten it out. The throw escapes Horner. Milner a threat to steal. Cincinnati, of course, would like to add to their 3-0 lead.
Butera the batter. Milner with 17 stolen bases. He's got a good lead. He's got that right foot on the artificial turf. He's going on the first pitch. It's fouled up by third. Oh, 1. Got a rain delay. Boston at Milwaukee. Postponed Cleveland at California. San Diego at Los Angeles. That's different, isn't it? The 0-1 is outside. One ball, one strike. Milner just made it back. Not going. The pitch is fouled away. 1 ball, 2 strikes. John Sterling and Ernie Johnson with you from Riverfront. It's the bottom of the 7th. The Reds lead it 3-0. They get 3 1/3 if you just join us on a 3-run home run by Max Venable. Now the 1-2. He is going from first, and that's going to be looped into left field, base hit. Griffey up with the ball, throwing toward third. He's going to be safe. Milner still made it. A little bit of a deke out there. A little bit of a decoy on his run. He held up and then broke for third, and Griffey's throw was late.
Boy, speed is so important. Milner is going on the pitch. Little looper. And look at Milner's stop. Now he sights the ball. He stops, but he has enough speed. As soon as he sees the ball drop in, it takes a high bounce. He goes to third. You thought Griffey really would have had him, but Milner just outran the throw, and Reds have first and third. That's a good shot of Milner. He stopped when he thought the ball was going to be caught. Then he stopped again, and when he saw it take the high bounce, he lit out for third and made it.
Ulster with a walk and a double. Braves bullpen becomes active. Olwine the lefty, McMurtry the righty in the Braves pen. Be alive with this guy. And the curve is high. Ulster got off to a very slow start. He's bounced back. Gotten his average to 255, 7 homers and 41 RBI. He was hitting in the low 200s for a long time. That's a strike. Houston with a run. They lead the Giants 1-0. They're in the second. Our Menon scoreboard will be up later on this telecast. 1 ball and strike. There's nobody out. Runners on the corners. Look out in the seats. Might be 8,000 or 10,000 here tonight. They've drawn 1,600,000. They've had a good year at the gate. Milner's at third. Butera is at first. The Braves are back. They would give a run to try to get a double play. Curve is low. 2-2. Tough decision for a manager to make. When do you stop giving runs? It's late. Bottom of the 7th. 2-2 pitch. Curve, line foul into the seats and right. Well, he golfed that.
In fact, that is a tough decision because the Braves, who we have said on the telecast, just not been scoring any runs at all, are already down 3-0. Mailer really wants to strike out here. He has the pitcher on deck. He would have a chance to get out of it if he could get Oster out without a run scoring. And you see the Braves are playing for 2.
Two balls and 2 strikes. It's foul. An afternoon game tomorrow. Bill Gullickson against Charlie Paleo. 12:30 tomorrow afternoon airtime. Then it's home to Atlanta against Houston Friday night, Saturday afternoon to Sunday afternoon. It's Fan Appreciation Day on Saturday. That game at 2:20. That's the first pitch. And that pitch is foul past Tommy Helm. Fan Appreciation Day Saturday. They're going to be giving away all kinds of gifts. Dinners, athletic tickets, trips, the new Chevrolet. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Two on and nobody out. Mailer trying to get out of a mess. Pitching to Oster. Takes it inside. Well, let's see what Pete Rose does now. DeMars is flashing aside. Butera at first could move. Milner, of course, will hang around at third. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Butera is not going. The pitch is swung on, miss. He struck him out. It's dropped by Virgil, but with a runner at first and less than 2 outs, you can't run. And Oster's out of there on a curveball strikeout.
A big change curve got him. Mailer fools him on a 3-2. And with 1 away, now the Braves have a chance. And by the way, one thing happened on that last pitch. On 3-2, Glenn Hubbard came in. He played very shallow to cut off the run. Ted Power is looking down at Billy DeMars, who's now talking to Eddie Milner, having a heart-to-heart. Boy, if I were the Braves, I would watch out for the ye old suicide squeeze here.
The Giants have perfected it this year. I think we're successful like 17 out of 28 times with the squeeze. Quite a ratio. Some pitchers don't bunt very well, and the manager's reluctant to put a squeeze on. They might just bunt and try to get the runner to second, where Stillwell will get a shot at knocking him in. Because when pitchers hit, many times they hit into a double play. We'll see how Rose plays it. Looks like he's going to bunt, and he did and missed it. 0-1. There was no squeeze on that time. They were just trying to move the runner from first to second. Now Chuck Tanner is out. Now watch this strategy. Look where Chuck Tanner has Hubbard playing. In between the pitcher and the first baseman. He missed the bunt. 0-2. He has Hubbard playing between the pitcher and the first baseman, and Oberkfell is shallow.
In other words, Hubbard is playing equidistant with the mound.
See Hubbard to the right of the pitcher? That's a very odd play. You don't see it happen often. No balls, 2 strikes. I don't know if he'll try bunting again or not. He's swinging and took it high. Hubbard went, whew. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Awfully close.
And back in Atlanta, Lynn Hubbard is saying, whoo.
Now Hubbard backing up. And the 1-2 pitch. Talk about curveball. Beautiful job of pitching so far by Mailer. He now has 2 outs.
Here's a faster breaking ball. He threw Oster the slow breaking ball to strike him out. That was his normal speed curve. Now the Braves can play back. And if they get Stillwell out, they'll get out of the inning without a run and be down 3-0 going to the 8th.
Stillwell is 0 for 3. Struck out, popped to short, and fly to center. Runners still at first and third, but 2 away. And Mailer's going to talk it over with Virgil. They'll figure right here how they're going to pitch to him. While they do, we'll say hi to Rhonda Biddle. She lives over in Rainsville, Alabama. Rhonda is handicapped, but she has been to a ball game this year, and she wants to thank all the vendors and the ticket takers at Gate F for the hospitality shown her. And Rhonda will pass along that message. We hope that she'll be back next year for a few more games. That is a ball outside. 1-0. First and third, 2 away. 1-0 pitch. Hit foul. Back of home plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. On this date in 1916, Marty Cavanaugh, the Cleveland Indians, hit the first pinch-hit grand slam homer in the American League. The ball rolled through a hole in the wall. A home run under existing rules.
Any way you can get him. As the old, that may have been the first time that line was used, that cliche. Looks like a line drive in the box score.
Yeah. They just put that on their matrix for it. On this day in baseball history. 2 balls, 1 strike. Mailer pitches. Inside. 3-1. Venable on deck. Milner's at third, Gutierrez at first, and the 3-1 from Rick Mailer is a ball high. The bases are loaded for Max Venable. Venable's grounded out, homered, and lined to center. Chuck Tanner and Chris Chambliss looking on. Well, Mailer in a spot now. If he can get this guy out, he's still got a chance. But if he doesn't get him out, it might be too much of a lead to overcome. It's 3-0, bottom of the 7th. He's at the crossroads, as they say. And the pitch, strike on a curveball, 0-1. Morris has hit a home run tonight for the Cardinals. Now the 0-1. On the way. Curve just outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. His home run was on a 3-1 fastball. And the 1-1. Fastball to the mound. He's going to get out of it. Nice play. Mailer throw to first. And the side's retired. They strand 3. We go to the 8th. 3-0, Reds.
The Red Sox magic number is 3. And the Astros magic number is 2. You look at left-hander Paul Assenmacher warming up in the Braves bullpen, as Mailer will be the 3rd hitter due in this inning. Well, we go to the 8th.
And the first pitch is a strike.
By the way, that was the Menin scoreboard.
Very well done, John. No balls, 1 strike. Virgil is struck out and popped to second. That is going to be right to the shortstop. A well-hit ball, but right at Kurt Stillwell. Line drive out. They've got Robinson and Franco in their bullpen. That's their 1-2 punch late. Robinson's 110, lost 3 with 11 saves. Franco's 1-5, lost 6 with 24 saves. One of the reasons that Ted Power is starting. Here comes Gerald Perry on as a pinch hitter for Glenn Hubbard. Perry digs in. Then we'll have a pinch hitter for Mailer. Looks like Chris Chandler. Curveball in there.
While we have time, I'd like to commend Rick Mailer. That is, for the most part, his 6th straight good start. It's dropped his ERA about a half a run a game. Braves just didn't score any runs for him.
The 0-1. Low.
You know that Mailer would like to have that pitch back to Venable, but for the most part, Mailer pitches a dandy. Gives up 3 runs in 7 innings on 6 hits, but
just lately he's pitched very well. Looks like the old Rick Mailer. That almost hit Perry. Perry at 279. 2 homers, 11 RBIs. Chambliss waiting. Perry had a home run against the Padres in that goofy 9-8 win. The Braves managed. It was really a strange game. There's a strike. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Perry had a good year at Richmond, hitting over 300. 2-2. Hit over third, but it's slicing foul. Chase Ossenmacher away. Count stays 2-2. Ted Power's getting a little tired of that mud. But you can't pitch with mud in the spikes. You got to have firm footing and comfortable footing. I said that one time. It's like pitching as if you had wooden shoes on, and a gentleman from Michigan sent me a pair. There's a base hit to right. Gerald Perry comes off the boards and singles just out of the reach of Tony Perez. That ball was well hit. Well, let's see if Chambliss can do anything. Perry a pinch hit single. Chambliss for Mailer. There are the numbers on Chambliss. Mailer went 7 innings. Allowed only 6 hits, 3 runs earned, 3 walks, and 5 strikeouts. Perry at first. He runs well. Strike call.
I just looked up to find out if Power had ever pitched a complete game. He spent most of his major league career as a bullpenner. But he did. He pitched one 3 years ago in his first year with the Reds.
Foul away off to the left. 0-2. Well, he's in a spot that if anybody else gets on, he might be lifted. A runner at first. Perry. Time call. A ball got loose from the Cincinnati bullpen. No balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. That's got to be the thrill of a lifetime to come out and be ball boy. No balls, 2 strikes. And the pitch. Bouncer out towards second to short 1. That's all. Perry took care of Stillwell, and it was all legal. He just upended him. As long as you can touch the bag with your foot or your hand, you can go in tough. And watch Perry go in tough here.
And he did his job. You see, it wasn't hit hard enough. A little flip, and Perry comes across and gets him. He made contact with the bag and also Stillwell, so the Braves avert the double play. Now Ted Simmons will come up and pinch hit for Albert Hall.
Simmons for Hall with a runner at first. Chambliss looking for a pinch runner. And this looks like Runge running for Chambliss. Hall Runge on as a pinch runner. You saw Perry go into second base. As long as he can touch the bag with something, hand or a foot, they'll allow you to knock that guy down. But if you go outside and you can't reach the base, they'll call an automatic double play. Announcement on Simmons at 2:52. 4 homers and 24 RBI. That is well hit, but right at, and through Oster. Runge to third. That's going to be a boot.
Oster got in front of this ball, and somehow it got through him. Simmons hit it hard, but Oster had the play. And it did. It just snuck under his glove. Glove might have hit it, went between his legs. Because if Oster keeps the ball in front of him, why? He has Simmons easily. Billy Sample's going to go on the run for Ted, and this might be the hitter, Ken Oberkfell. I was going to say it's a hitter that he needs to get, but Pete Rose now going out to talk it over with Power. A home run ties the game. Power, basically a relief pitcher. Well, there's Darryl Motley making his first appearance. It isn't Billy Sample. Motley goes in to run now for Simmons at first base. And Rose, aware that Power really hasn't gone this far this long, will bring in John Franco.
Listen to this nice hand for Ted Power. He's been through a lot here this summer. Tip that cap, Ted. He does. Now John Franco makes sure that he's comfortable as Terry Harper walks to the batter's box. He's on as a pinch hitter for Oberkfell. Motley, making his first appearance of the Brave, is at first base as a runner for Simmons. Simmons reached on an error by the second baseman Oster. Runge hustled it around to third. Franco 6th in the National League with his 24 saves. Tied for 5th with 67 games. Harper would like to get one up in the air deep. He's batting .242, 6 homers and 27 RBI. John Franco pitches. Harper takes low. 1-0. Murphy on deck. Robinson continues to throw. He's in the Cincinnati bullpen. The 1-0. Ball 2-0. Three 0 Reds. We're in the top of the 8th. Runners first and third and 2 out. And the 2-0 to Terry Harper. Swung on, hit foul. Off to the right, 2-1. They've got 15,000 here tonight. Two balls and a strike. Franco proving once again you don't have to be a monster to play Major League Baseball. Now the 2-1. Strike, 2-2.
And of course, as you can see, John Franco, even though he's small, throws very hard and has nasty breaking pitches. Braves think he's a very tough pitcher. Here's another pretty good pitcher too, Ron Robinson, the right-hander in the bullpen.
Franco's 5'10", 175. 2-2. Ooh, that was close. Gutierrez wanted that. Fans boo. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
They might list him at 5'10", but they measured him when he was standing on a little box. But he's a nasty pitcher.
Motley will go now from first. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Perez gets behind him. Runge off third. 3-2 pitch. Swung on. Hit to left field, but it's going to be caught by Venable. We're going to the bottom of the 8th. You can see several changes there. Paul Ossenmacher is the pitcher. Cominsk is at third. Runge at second. Perry in right field. Parker will lead it off. Paul Ossenmacher's had a good year. Three 0 Reds. Parker has been up 3 times. He's walked, lined to third, and bounced out. Here we go. Swung on and missed on a curve, 0-1. Last time out, Ossenmacher threw a lot of changeups. He's got a curve, fastball, and a change. Power went 7 2/3. Curve inside. He allowed 4 hits, no runs, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts. He stands to win it if Franco gets the Braves out in the 9th. Now the 1-1. There's a let-up. Fly ball short along the line. Perry over, but it's in for a base hit, and it gets an AstroTurf bounce. He's at third. Dave Parker. Perry came over, didn't back off enough to play it on the bounce, and it hit the artificial turf and just bounced over his head.
Well, there's inexperience on Gerald Perry. He's playing on an artificial turf field, and you can't run close to a fly ball like you can on the grass. Perry races over. He can't get there, and look what happens. That ball goes 15 feet in the air. Will Chamberlain wouldn't have had that. You have to back off fly balls, so Parker gets a pop fly triple. There's Cobra chugging in the third with all he's got. The Reds now have a chance for another insurance run.
Big run at third for Buddy Bell. The Braves have their infield up. There's nobody out. Bell is 0 for 3. Sitting on an 8-game hitting streak. Now the 1-0. Bounce foul past Parker. Nobody out. Bell's dad, Gus Bell, a very fine outfielder for many years, about 15 years in Major League. To third, holding the runner. Comet throws it high, but going up was Bob Horner. He saved everybody. Brad Comins, now the third baseman, looked the runner back and almost threw it away, but Horner saved him.
Well, Brad looks him back all right. Brad does not look so bad at third base. He's getting a little used to it. He throws high, and Horner has to make a leaping catch to save the Braves and Brad Cominsk. And now here's a guy who has, in his whole career, done one thing better than anything else. That's drive in runs, just like this, Tony Perez.
And the pitch. Inside with a fastball, 1-0. The infield now, Commons third, Thomas short. Runge second, and Horner. There it is, base hit left, Tony Perez. 1,645 RBIs. It is now 4-0.
He's always been a great RBI man. He waits and drives in the run. Tony Perez retiring at the end of this year after a terrific career.
Milner 2 for 3. Perez at first. Strike call, 0-1. Toronto walloping Detroit 8-2 in the 8th. Yankees beating Baltimore 4-1 in the 7th now. Still a rain delay. Boston at Milwaukee. Little high. Postponement, Cleveland at California. Necro is scheduled to pitch that game. Is 11-11. Padres Dodgers also postponed. Oakland beat the White Sox 4-2 in Joe Cali. One out, a runner at first. Assenmacher to Milner. It is a ball outside. Milner's hit safely in 11 straight games. Two. Hit hard, base hit right. Perez stops at second. Third hit given up by Paul Assenmacher. In all fairness to him, the triple by Parker should have been a single. Here's Sal Butera. Runners first and second, one out, 4-0. They now have 9 hits. This surprised me a bit today in the paper. Chuck Tanner walking out. We might get a change. And Craig McMurtry is being waved in. So Chuck Tanner will go right-hander against right-hander. Milner at first, and the pitch. Swung on foul, 0-1. Cal Daniels. No balls, 1 strike. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning. It's 4-0. As you look at the runners, first and second. Only 1 out in the pitch. Did he go? How about that? The third base ump says no, and the umpire behind the plate says strike. Going 2. Fully overruled. One and 2. Daniels was at Denver, recalled in mid-June. McMurtry with a 1-2 pitch. Curve low. Give Assenmacher credit for 1/3 of an inning. Gave up 3 hits and a run. Those runners out there are his. Two balls and 2 strikes. It's on the way. Low, I guess. 3-2. Now those runners might be going. Jones at second base. Milner at first. Is there a double play? Strike him out, throw him out. And Ozzie Virgil's arm and McMurtry. They're not going. Down low, ball 4. Pete Rose playing very conservative baseball here. Holds his runners. And Daniels gets a walk. That loads the bases. Tom Browning is going to be a pinch runner for Daniels. Tom Browning, a pitcher, on as a pinch runner. Oster, the batter. Bases loaded. 1 out. Here's a pitch. Outside. Red's trying to break it open right here. Outside. 2 balls and no strikes. McMurtry digging himself a hole. Jones is at third. Milner is at second. And Browning, the pinch runner, at first. Fast strike, 0-1. 2 balls and a strike. Reds trying to beat the Braves for the 9th time this year. Atlanta's won 5. McMurtry steps off. Braves are back looking for 2. And the pitch. Swung on, bounce to first. Horner's coming home for 1. That's it. Jones knocked Virgil down, but I don't believe it's a double play ball. It's the fielder's choice. I don't believe Virgil had any chance. Here comes Jones in, and he makes sure. Oops. 2 away, base is still loaded. 3-2 on the throw from Horner to the catcher on the force of Jones. Everybody moves up 90 feet. Milner's now at third. Browning at second. And Oster at first. And Franco, the pitcher, is the batter. McMurtry could get out of this. He's got the pitcher up there. The Braves get out of this with only 1 run scoring. They're in pretty good shape, at least for this inning. But they only have 1 more up, and they're not very good shape for the 9th, trailing 4-0. The 0-1 pitch. To the mound, he's going to get it. Quick throw to first, and the inning's over. The Reds pick up 1 insurance run, leave 3. We go to the 9th, 4-0, Cincinnati.
Reach out and touch a hand.
They've sold 10 million records.
Make a friend if you can.
Have 11 gold albums.
Reach out and touch a hand.
They're America's favorite.
Make a friend if you can.
The Oak Ridge Boys.
I want to sing just a little love song.
For the first time, all their best loved hits in this special 2-album collection.
Oh, you're always in my heart. And you're often on my mind. They'll fire up.
2 complete Oak Ridge Boys albums.
Giddy up. Oh, if it were up to me, I'd make my life with you. My baby is American made. Yes, I'm setting fancy free.
Remember, this 2-album collection is not sold in stores. Here's how to order.
To order, call toll-free 1-800-257-1234. To save all COD and handling charges and pay only $12.98 for 2 records, 2 cassettes, or 2 8-tracks. Send check or money order to Oak Ridge Boys, P.O. Box 7500, Atlanta, Georgia. Remember, to save all additional charges, send only $12.98 to Oak Ridge Boys, P.O. Box 7500, Atlanta, Georgia 30357.
Following Braves baseball, stay with the Superstation. Next, he's been sent to Siberia for a crime he didn't commit. John Savage, coming out of the ice, is next.
Here the change. Nick Osaski is at first base. Dave Van Gorder is a new catcher. Van Gorder bats 7th. Osaski will hit 5th. Murphy will lead it off against John Franco. Houston trying to wrap it up. Their magic number is 2. Lead the Giants by a score of 4-0 after 4 innings. Murphy the hitter. Outside. If Houston beats the Giants are eliminated. Houston wins, and the Reds win. The magic number is then 1. They've gotten themselves a tie, really. 2 balls, no strikes. Two and 1. Franco trying to save this ball game for Ted Power. Foul away by Murphy. win by Houston would give them a record of 88 and 64. Cincinnati, if they win, would be 78 and 74. There's a bouncer out to short. On the first, one down. Now the batter, Bob Horner. Montreal and the Pirates are 1-1 in the bottom of the sixth. Cardinals 5-1 over the Phillies in the fifth. Morrison, Van Slyke, home run, St. Louis. Cubs beat the Mets 8-2 this afternoon. Hall in relief, the winner. Dunston, a home run, Chicago. Carter, a home run, New York. Aguilera, the loser. There's a base hit to left by Bob Horner, his first hit of the night. And for the Braves, their fifth hit of the evening. Ken Griffey is next. Oakland beat the White Sox 4-2. Yankees beating Baltimore 4-1 in the ninth. Rasmussen looks like he's going to win his 16th game. What a year he's had. 16-6. Rayford a home run, Baltimore. Toronto ahead of Detroit 8-2 in the bottom of the ninth. Fernandez and Fielder have hit home runs for Toronto. They're still in a rain delay, Boston at Milwaukee. Griffey with Horner at first. Minnesota 1, Kansas City nothing in the bottom of the sixth. 1 ball, no strikes. Here it's 4-0 Reds, top of the ninth. Braves at a 5-3 homestand. Blowing away, 2-0. They have 10 games remaining after today. A game here, then 3 with Houston, 3 more with Cincinnati and Atlanta, and then 3 in Houston, and it's over. Here's a foul away. 2 balls and a strike. Griffey had a single in the fourth. He's 1 for 3. Braves bats have been quiet again tonight. They came into the game. It scored 19 more runs than the Cardinals. The Cardinals are 12th in the National League. That's last in runs scored. 3-1. Bounce foul, 3-2. Pete Rose has been funny about the fact that he hasn't played in a ball game. Last time up, he struck out against Goose Gossett. It was back on August 17th. Now the writers are asking, when are you going to play again, Pete? High into the air in center. Eddie Milner for out number 2. So Rose tells the writers, you're asking me before when I was going to quit. Now you're asking me when I'm going to play again. Kind of tongue-in-cheek. He said he'll make up his mind, and he might be back next year as a part-time player, but I kind of feel that if Pete Rose can't play a lot, that he might just decide to manage from the bench, especially with only 24 players on your roster. We're down to 1 out, folks. This is Thomas, and that's going to work its way into right field, base hit. Andres Thomas with a single just out of the reach of a sprawling Ron Oster. And Ozzie Virgil comes to the plate with 2 on and 2 out. Tomorrow, Bill Gullickson against Charlie Palaio. Palaio pitched well his last outing. Went 9 innings. He is 1-0. Gullickson's been a successful pitcher. 13 wins, 11 losses this year. They got him from Montreal. Here's a pitch. Ball outside. Thomas is at first base. Horner's at second. They both singled. And the 1-0. Fast strike. We're talking about the Reds in the 70s. They had fabulous teams. I believe they won 7 division championships in that decade. Or 6. 6, I believe. Swing a miss by Virgil. One ball, 2 strikes. Franco to Virgil. Bounce toward left field. Base hit. Horner makes the turn. And the shutout is gone as Virgil signals to left, making it 4-1. This is just out of the reach of Buddy Bell. As they say in the business, that had eyes. And Perry is a scheduled batter. And Rose is on his way out. Robinson starts throwing in the bullpen. Let's see if Franco is allowed to stay in. Ramirez is announced for Perry. They'll leave him in. Yes, it was 6 division championships for the Reds in the 70s. They were in 4 World Series. Won 2 and lost 2. Here comes Ramirez. Perry has a pinch hitter single. Runners first and second. It is 4-1 now. Van Gorder with a sign. There you see the runners. Franco's pitch is a ball. Ramirez at 242, 8 homers and 33 RBIs, has hit well a past month and a half. Batting over 300. Now the 1-0. Strike, fastball, 1 ball, 1 strike. And the 1-1. Hit foul past Russ Nixon. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Runge is on deck. He's batting in the 9-hole. But Ramirez has to do something. There's 2 outs. And the 1-2 pitch from John Franco is on the way. That's out to short, and that's your ball game. Flip to second, and the game is over. They force Virgil coming down. Final score, Cincinnati 4, Atlanta 1. Back for the totals after this message.